Louisiana All American Sports Show. 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 Louisiana. If the sports you wanna talk about, then listen to the hottest show that's coming out the south. It's Eric Hatfield and Coach Perry Daniels, man. They're gonna sit you down and tell you all about the game and make it plain. 96.9 FM, that's the station to hear the best sports talk show in the nation. Without hesitation, you should get with this and get your popcorn ready, boy. You better not miss Louisiana All American Sports Show. Louisiana All American Sports Show. Louisiana All American Sports Show. Louisiana. It's Joker P. Check this out.
Yeah, I want to welcome y'all to the Louisiana All American Sports Show here on 96.9 FM, WHYR Baton Rouge Community Radio. I am your host, Gerard Piper, a.k.a. Joker P. And in the studio with me, I got Coach Perry Daniel. What's going on, Coach?
Hey, man, it's a fantastic day, and just can't wait to get started. We've got high school football to cover. We've got last night's basketball game on Louisiana All American Sports. We've just got a field show ready for our listeners today.
Yes, and we got a pledge drive here at WHYR man, and we want to thank people that's giving and donating this time of year. This is a great time of year to donate to us. The pledge line number is 225-364-3969. That's 225-364-3969, and we're definitely going to like to thank some of you guys for giving. Without you, it would be no us. And look, we also have Derek Thomas here in the studio. He just came in. You know, he's our guy that runs the board on Friday night games with Louisiana All American Sports Game of the Week. You like to say something, Derek? What's up, man?
Good morning, everyone. And like I said, like Joker said, you know, we have this giving pledge drive going on, and we need donations so that we can stay open, so that we can continue to bring you unique programming on the radio, our show, and all the other wonderful shows that WHYR brings to you via the airwaves and also over the internet, listening online on WHYR.org.
Most definitely, man. And we also we have a few people that have given, and we like to give them a shout out here on Louisiana All American Sport, because that's how we do. First, I'd like to give a shout out to Lindsley Ferris, and I want to thank them for giving to the station, and we really appreciate it. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you. Susan and David Jensen, they're so welcoming and they're very delightful people. We want to thank them for their donation here at WHYR Pledge Drive. We're definitely giving shouts out and giving push-ups, and you know, hey, we want to thank you guys. We want to give other people a chance to acknowledge you guys. And so, hey, Eric Hatfield will be here with us in a few minutes. It's December the 3rd. You know, it's my birthday weekend, Coach. Do you know that?
Hey, man, that's an awesome thing, isn't it? So what are you going to do tomorrow? Well, so hold on. First of all, for those that don't know, Gerard Piper, Joker P, is a twin. So he has a twin brother that's in the entertainment industry. Both of the young men are extremely talented. So what are you all, do you have anything planned for the weekend?
Well, actually, I'm just going to spend time with my daughter and spend time with my family and a significant other. I'm going to spend time with them and pretty much reflect. You know, one thing I know about what I'm starting to realize about my birthday, especially being in December, is I get the whole year almost to reflect when my birthday comes around. And you know, this year with the passing of Prince, with the passing of Miss Shakur, Tupac's mom, Afeni Shakur, and a few other people here. Muhammad Ali. You know, and when I get to my birthday in December, it makes me reflect. It makes me look back on how blessed I am, and so that's more or less. And you know, it's like every year it gets. You know, I'm more humbled, and especially by the way that I came up and I grew up and seen a lot of things. You know, so now it's just a blessing, and that's kind of what I think of it. So this year, like he said, I do have a twin brother. I'm so nice they made me twice. You know what I mean? Hey, but it is what it is. But like I said, man, hey, I'm in that. I have that energy. I have that spirit right now. You know, in these by being my birthday and also by being the mystique of the holidays, and you can just feel the aura of the people. Derek, what's up, man? We're going to get into what we got to talk about later. I'm glad you're in the studio today. Finally, we're going to get into that issue we was talking about the Ohio State and Penn State. But, hey, that's another issue. We're going to start off here with down in the bottom last night. McKinley Panthers was going against the Tara Trojans, and McKinley escaped with a narrow victory, 58-56. They were led by Tyrese Radford, the junior plays point guard for McKinley. Tyrese Radford had 30 points last night in the victory for McKinley. And you know, my observations first. Tara came in really the underdog. McKinley has been played better competition, has a better record than Tara, and so going in, McKinley, I thought was maybe a little bit overconfidence. Tara, I have to give them shouts out and have to take my hats off to them because they played. And even Coach Boudreaux said this after the game. He went up to Tara's coach and told him, "Say you guys played and fought and scratched and clawed, and that's a sign of good coaching." And it is. McKinley came in a little bit sloppy. Both teams were a little bit, rattled a little bit. They had to kind of settle down a little bit in the first quarter. I think McKinley had a week off, so you can see the rust that was on them in the first quarter. At the end of the first quarter, it may have been like 6-4. In the second quarter, both teams come out playing. McKinley is trying to pull away to get a 6-point lead, maybe 7, and here comes Tara coming back, and always kept the game close. And at halftime, the game was only a 4-point game. After halftime in the third quarter, McKinley comes back out, and it went like that for pretty much the whole game until in the fourth quarter, Tara was able to get a 1-point lead with about 3 minutes left in the game, and Tyrese Radford was not having it, and he kind of took the game over and was able to make all of the big plays down the stretch, and Tara couldn't convert. So McKinley was able to escape with a 58-56 win. Now tonight, McKinley plays Baker Buffaloes tonight. Baker won also in the first game that they had against Bel Air. And Bel Air, we know the situation with Bel Air with Coach Chauncey Moore, so they don't have the players, and so they were undermanned, so to speak, last night against Baker. And Baker has some new players that have came over from different schools. And Coach Holmes down there is very excited about the team. He said this is the best team he has ever had, and these guys are good. He has 3 very good players. He has one like a sophomore player. He's about 6'7". Wow. And so, man, it's going to be exciting. So tonight, Baker plays McKinley, and so this is a game that is going to it's like a litmus test for McKinley to see where they're really at and see if they can do anything. But hey, other than that, McKinley was able to squeak out the win, played tough again. So tonight will be the test for these guys.
Hey, that should be a really good game down there tonight in the bottom, the Baker Buffaloes against the McKinley Panthers. Everyone may not be up to speed on the whole Chauncey Moore situation. And, we've made it a policy on Louisiana All American Sports not to really discuss personnel issues within the EBR coaching situation. But I feel safe to say that we can report that Coach Moore has been removed from that coaching position at Bel Air High School, and the rest is still pending. We don't know how long, but we will keep you informed on that, and as soon as we have an opportunity to have Coach Moore on the show, we definitely will do that. Now, those of you that have listened to the show any amount of time know that I was a part of the coaching staff with Coach Moore over at Bel Air, and that school is very dear to me. And so we're going to bring you the entire scoop on that as soon as we're able to do that. But there was also some football action last night, man. And we started off last night, Joker, after the McKinley victory down in the bottom. We had a caller, man. We had a young man from the newly crowned 2016 Division IV state football champion Southern Lab join us last night. On the phone, the running back who had over 200 yards, who coached
my former SBR Jags, and you just want to give kudos to Coach Aaron. And Joker has some birthday cake. Miss Carter brought him some birthday cupcakes. Yes, so I don't know if we're gonna sing Happy Birthday. You don't want to hear me sing.
Happy birthday.
He done turned on the Facebook Live in here.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Joker P. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you. You know, I'm too modest. I am too modest. I just want to thank everybody, the staff, WHYR, man, for a beautiful day, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Especially
make a wish.
King. Let me make a wish and blow out my candle.
So right now we're gonna wish that you all out there make those phones ring so that we can continue to bring you Louisiana All American Sports on Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock at 225-364-3969. We are in the middle of the pledge drive, and we don't have big sponsorships. We don't sell advertising. It depends solely on the community, on your donations. What happens with advertising what you can deliver. If you've been able to hear Louisiana All American Sports for any time, you know that we are uncensored here on WHYR. We bring you our truth, and hopefully that resonates with you. Hopefully it broadens your perspective. Hopefully you view it as a valuable commodity and you can reach into your pockets and make a significant donation. Donation that's too small. Anything is acceptable. 225-364-3969. I know most of you out there have cable television. How much do you pay for that entertainment? This is entertainment as well. The statistics tell us that most people that listen to community radio never donate. We need your donation. 225-364-3969. Last night, we had other high school teams from the Baton Rouge area that participated in state championship football games. We had some participate in semifinal football games that will participate in finals games next week. Let's start off with Scotlandville, the Scotlandville Hornets.
Well,
they had an end to their undefeated season last night with a loss to Evangel Christian.
Wow.
Scotlandville lost 38-6.
38-6. And, I felt bad for Levi Lewis. Actually, Eric Hatfield is in the studio right now, man. He's finally here. And what's going on?
Oh, I'm just glad to be here, man. The sun is out and the birds are chirping. Actually, they're not, but I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, but Eric, I know you was keeping up. He's the one who told me about the Scotlandville game last night, so the floor is yours.
I mean, it was really the first half. It was hard to watch, and I had a feeling by halftime which way it was going. Levi Lewis all year had thrown 4 interceptions. He threw 2 in the first quarter, or 2 in the first half last night. That kind of gave me that very uneasy feeling. And granted, they were trading punches with Evangel for a while, but when Evangel scored a touchdown, I think the guy's name was Tanner Ash, who made a nice catch at the end of the first half and made it 14-0. I just had this really bad feeling it was turning. In the third quarter, the wheels came off. This is an example of a program that's building, right? They got to the quarterfinals last year, lost on that failed 2-point conversion to Mandeville. They made it to the championship game this year. We don't know what the future holds. There's a little piece of regret that Levi Lewis won't be a part of it because I have a lot of confidence this program is going very much in the right direction. But they ran into a juggernaut in Evangel. Evangel's there. It had been about 4 years, I think, since they played in the Superdome, but they're there a lot. And they just kind of brought the trophy back home to that Shreveport, that northwestern Louisiana area. But I think the future is very bright at Scotlandville. I'm looking forward to seeing this team compete in the future. I think they have a great coaching staff, great kids. I'm just going to miss seeing Levi Lewis play ball. I just wish he could have been a part of that. Wow. It reminds me of another school that we covered that what I heard on the way in kind of took the championship and just it wasn't even close. And I see a lot of similarities there, albeit on different levels.
Yeah, man, and so, we want to give, for a great season, we have to give it up for Levi Lewis. He pulled them out of a lot of jams that they were in this year and made some amazing comebacks, but just couldn't put it together last night. What were your observations about this team and this season, Coach?
Look, this team has been through a lot. This football team has gone through 3 head football coaches in 3 years.
In 3 years, wow.
And 3 different head football coaches. So for them to advance to the championship game of the highest level of football in Louisiana, it's amazing.
Right.
And that's largely a credit to Levi Lewis, but it's not solely a credit to Levi Lewis. That was a team effort. Great coaching. They just did a fantastic job all season, and we want to congratulate and commend the Scotlandville Hornets, their fan base, their staff, their administration on a great year of football this year. And losing to Evangel in the state championship is nothing to hang your head about.
Well, most definitely, and hey,
just one more senior. I'd be remiss if I didn't. First of all, there's talent all over that team, like Perry just said. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the contribution that Trenton Charles, the running back, number 12, he's also a senior, that he contributed throughout that entire run. And it's funny because Levi Lewis is kind of the star. I mean, his name. The guys on TV were going on and on about him last night. But Trenton Charles is a running back. We had him on the show here one time last year. Very quiet kid. He was a very quiet contributor. It's another person who if he's listening, I just want to give him a shout out that I kind of regret that he won't be part of it when Scotlandville finally hoists that trophy. But so just a little one that we're going to give him a little mention too, because he was one heck of a star on that team.
Most definitely. And we also had another final here where St. Thomas More defeats Parkview Baptist 54-29. And of course, we got to give it up to Southern Lab I wish I had my applause sound effect. But we definitely got to give it up to Southern Lab, back-to-back Division 4 champs. What do you think about that program?
I love it, man. I love what's going on. I love what Coach Randall's doing. There's a recurring theme here about regretting people we like not being a part of it. I wish in some small way Coach Nick Mitchell, who was the coach up until last year, prior to last year.
And that's who I thought about.
Yeah, I
just thought about Nick Mitchell.
Yeah,
I said,
man.
Wonder how he feels right now.
I mean, he got them kind of right before that mountaintop, and Marcus Randall took the ball and just ran right through the ran right to the top, man. They've been in the Superdome now 3 consecutive years, 2 straight state championships. You had mentioned Quincy Fillmore coming in, replacing Bladrick Veal, who we had covered quite a bit seamlessly. I expect more of that to continue. I love what's going on there at that school. I love it.
Since you're a Southern Lab guy, so
I mean, Quincy's a junior. Ty is a sophomore. Damone Clark, linebacker, outside linebacker, strong safety, he's an underclassman. Marcus Martin, underclassman. They're losing the 4-star recruit, but they have plenty of talent on their team. They're losing Chris Allen, but they have plenty to come back. Cover is not bare at Southern Lab, so I look for them to continue to be a force to reckon with in the Division 4.
West Monroe.
Hey guys, it's also important that we mention that Coach Nick Mitchell left on his own terms from Southern Lab.
Right,
so that's important as well.
Right.
Is he coaching anywhere now?
He's the head coach at Port Allen.
Okay.
And that's what I told Eric last night when I went in there and saw him. I was like, man, I wonder how he feels. And we was talking about it. I said, well, it's kind of like Tony Dungy, and he was like, well, it's the difference was Tony Dungy got fired.
Right.
But I said, well, that even feels worse because like Nick
left.
Mitchell, you left something that was, right there at the, right there.
Talking about how is Port Allen? How did they do this?
Well, they're not Southern Lab. They didn't play for the state championship. But let me say that you've got to know Coach Nick Mitchell and that he is morally convicted. And you just have to know the character of that man. And there were some personal stances that he took in order to leave that cupboard that he had built, that wagon that he put together, and go to Port Allen. So, and I'm sure it's going to work out for him because he's just a great guy. And just like he built it over at Southern Lab, he can do the same over at Port Allen. Hey, guys, but we have to run through these other scores so that we can move on if we're going to get to half of the things on our agenda today. Well, so if we could go to Madison Prep, qualifying for their first state championship in football.
Yeah, Madison Prep wins 31-6 against St. Helena in the 2A semifinals, so they'll be moving on. West Feliciana goes down against Lutcher 16-14 in the 3A semifinals. We also have McDonald 35 goes down against Edna Carr in the 4A semifinals. Landry Walker defeats Destrehan 50-14 in the 5A semifinals. West Monroe defeats Zachary 35-14 in the 5A semifinals. So Zachary goes down this year. And of course, we had Southern Lab wins the Division 4 championship 36-9 against Ascension Episcopal. I also have a couple more names of some people. We got to give shouts out to them for donating here. I want to give a shout out to Leah Smith. I want to give a shout out to her. Leah, we want to thank you from everybody here at Louisiana All American Sports, WHYR 96.9, for helping us continue to do what we do. And we love you for that. Thank you, Leah. And, of course, my man with the plan, Derek Thomas. I want to thank him and his family, and he's here. Man, we want to thank you for your donation to the 2016 Players Drive. And, hey, I don't want to make you put you on the spot or anything, but, how did it make you feel?
I felt good, man, because, like I said, I told my story a little bit last night about how I got here, and that's why I put family. Feels like family, man. I mean, I'm blessed to have an opportunity to be here with you all, learning radio, getting a chance to speak my mind on sports, and I can't wait to argue and debate with you on that college football playoff situation we're going to talk about later.
Yeah, we definitely going to get into that. But we would definitely want to give you a shout out again, Derek, man. Derek Thomas and his family, Leah Smith, Lindsay Ferris, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Lindley Ferris, and Susan and David Jensen. We want to thank you all for giving a donation to the 2016 Players Drive here. And you can donate too at 225-364-3969, 225-364-3969. It's all up, we're all about you guys, about the community.
Right. You can also donate online by visiting our website, WHYR.org. Scroll down to the bottom, click donate online. If you do choose to donate the lump sum of $96.90 or become an $8 a month sustaining donor, you will receive that awesome tote bag. It's nice. It's a nice royal blue canvas tote bag with a mirror. If you want to know what the mirror looks like, ride by our building. The paint is painted on our building, and it's awesome.
Yeah, you will love it. You will love it. And hey, that's $96.90 for the lump sum. That's only $8 sustaining per month.
I'll tell you what. I just would like to. I cannot emphasize. First of all, thank everybody who's donated, and we can't thank enough WHYR for granting us the opportunity to bring this fine programming to the community. We thank the community for granting us an opportunity to come into their homes and cars, and so therefore I'm going to pledge to give a grant, a U.S. grant, a $50 bill
grant.
To the Pledge Drive donation. So count me in that number. Yes, it was a prop and a cheesy use of the word grant, but hey, it just goes to show how important it is to donate.
Yeah, I wish I had my rim shot sound effect.
Hey, y'all can attest. There's a real $50 bill in my hand.
It is real. I can see it from here.
You gotta show them on Facebook Live.
Yes, indeed. Well, we definitely want to thank you. What you got, Coach?
Hey, man, let's go to break and out of break address.
Well, this was my idea. I was thinking, we take a little break. We're going to go to a little musical break. We got a great song for you guys. Old school song. You're definitely going to love this. But I wanted to go and get a person from in here to have a live testimony. Have Gwen come in and say a few words about the pledge drive, and then we can get into the rest of our show, and really, because we got some things we want to talk about today. What do you think, Coach?
Okay. Okay.
All right. So, hey, check this out. Y'all all know about this. Digital Underground, same song. All around the world, same song. I know y'all remember that song, right?
I
there.
do.
Do you remember that? It brings back a little memories. Yeah. Brings back a little bit of memories. But what you got, Coach?
Well, I mean, the reason why we chose that song, because it's very relevant to today.
Yes.
This week in New Orleans, we had the killing of former NFL player Joe McKinlght
Louisiana
at the
native.
age of 28.
Wow.
And Ronald Gasser, a 51-year-old dominant culture male, was taken into custody immediately after professing that he is the person who shot Joe McKinlght after a road rage incident. And he was later released, not charged, which has caused a lot of talk and controversy in the city of New Orleans and around the country.
Yes.
Is this the same song that we hear, that we heard in Trayvon Martin, that we heard in Alton Sterling? That this one's a little different because it's not even a police officer.
Right.
So we definitely want to take some time to address that, and let's go around the horn for those that would like to contribute some commentary on this. And Joker, if you could cue up the Sheriff Newell Norman's
most definitely
bit from his press conference, then we'll get into this thing.
Okay, well, I do have the clip from Newell Norman, the sheriff of Jefferson Parish. I want you guys to listen to this here first, and then we'll come back with the rest of our commentary.
Have begun this investigation. So let me tell you where we are and why. First, out of fairness and equity to the life that Joe McKnight Jr. lived, as well as the life that Ronald Gasser lives, this investigation is not going to be moved, influenced, coerced, changed in any way by any external force, comments, or otherwise. I can't control what's on the social networks, and if we want to continue to be silly, that's fine. What I can control is when people in this community decide to demonstrate, that they do so peacefully, and they do so in accordance with the Code of Ordinances of Jefferson Parish, as well as the laws of the state of Louisiana. And if those ordinances and laws are not abided by, they will be arrested and put in jail. Because if we are truly worried about fairness and equity to all the parties involved. They will allow this investigatory process to proceed in the deliberate and credible manner that it should and will be conducted in that fashion, like all other investigations, not unlike the reputation that this organization has had for dozens upon dozens of years. So
that
I'll just end it right there.
That very last bit made my there's a little red flag or some satellites coming out of my ears. That made it just shoot out like something in a sci-fi movie.
I mean, how?
Wow. Did you hear what he said?
But you know what?
He basically said the history of their department is that they're fair. In other words,
no, that wasn't my take on it at all. I think he understands that their history is that they. I mean, I was going to say Jefferson Parish. If you're from New Orleans and you hear that sends your radars. I thought my interpretation. I could be wrong. I might have waxed some ears. I thought he was saying, look, the reputation is that I thought he was recognizing they had a bad reputation. He said, I thought he said, unlike the reputation we've had for years. Did y'all pick? Maybe I picked it up all wrong.
My main concern is, as far as with the protesting, he's threatened to arrest citizens for protesting. Of course, when you want to protest, you want to abide by the rules and regulations. But to threaten the public for protesting this incident with jail time, and you let the person responsible for causing this incident, go home and sleep in his bed, eat food from his refrigerator. Joe McKinlght can't do that. And I don't want to jump the gun here, but we had a similar road race situation earlier with Will Smith.
Player.
Will Smith, and that young man claimed self-defense and stand your ground, but he's still in jail. But Gasser is at home. The difference between these two situations is the young man who shot Will Smith is an African American, and Ronald Gasser is a Caucasian. And there are differing witness accounts, and he made sure to, I guess you could say, debunk what witnesses have said happened. That he did not stand over McKnight and do this, but he says he doesn't want to tank the investigation. Well, you're debunking what witnesses have potentially given testimony or stated happened. So don't try this in the media. Get your witness statements, and then you turn it over to the DA, and they should determine whether or not they should file charges. He doesn't need to try and be judge, jury, and execution, because that's not his job. That's not his job to do that. In my opinion.
And this man has a reputation. Ronald Gasser was cited in 2006 with a road rage incident where he allegedly beat another man on the same intersection right there at Berman Highway where he shot McKnight. He said Gasser was issued a misdemeanor summons for simple battery on the February 20th, 2006 incident after a man said Gasser attacked him and beat him with a fist. The charge was ultimately dismissed, but will be reviewed again now, according to the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office.
That's a red flag.
Yeah, go ahead, guys.
Man, I mean, with me, I also disagree with what's going on, of course. I disagree with and how it looks and the perception of it. But I'm more on the side of the stand your ground law, and that's where the rubber to meet meets the road. I had a conversation before I came here about this, and someone told me, he said, well, man, if Joe got out the car or approached the guy, and the guy felt threatened and he killed him, and the guy was basically saying he's not mad at that, and he agreed with that. I said, it's okay. Well, what if it was a woman that got out the car, or what if it was a 15-year-old teenager that looks taller? When you say I feel threatened, you can say that about anything. Why? A woman shouldn't be you can't kill a woman. I say, what's the difference? If someone says in their mind they feel threatened, I say now, and you can I say, so you think that a person can say, oh, I'm going to do this to you, or I'm going to beat you up? He don't get out of the car with a weapon in his hand. Now, if he get out of the car with a knife in his hand or a gun, then that's something different. Then I'm literally threatened. But for me somebody just says something, and then they get out the car, and I don't have to pull out the gun and say, hey, man, back up from my car. I could just pull out. I'm scared. I could just pull out and just do and shoot that person, and then it's okay. Well, you know what? You said you felt threatened, so it's okay. So it's okay. You can go home tonight. And that guy and he's dead. He don't have a test. You know what I mean?
It leaves a very wide.
And that's the point.
I'm really hot. It leaves a really live leeway. Mike 3 is very hot. Like a really wide leeway in the interpretation. It almost makes us have a lot of license to be like the Wild Wild West. I've gone over this in my head since yesterday. From everything I've seen, there are like about 5 or 6 different versions that I think are possible. I cannot say that 100% for sure in maybe 1 or 2 of those 6 versions I have in my head that maybe I would not have at least drawn a weapon or acted similarly. But there is so much hair on this case. You look at this guy's track record with the incident back in 2006. You look at the fact McKnight didn't have a gun. There was a road rage incident, so who contributed to what? There's a lot of hair.
You look at the stereotype. See, he's an older white man. This is a young black man. And that's why, because the first conversation I had with this guy, the first thing he said was, and he didn't know he was saying it. He said, man, when a black man to get out the car and approach a white man, he didn't really know what he was saying, but that's people can feel that way. And just think if this sheriff is the same age as this guy, he can look at it and say, you know what, I understand what you mean. A young black guy.
Hey guys, can I get in on this conversation?
Sorry, Coach.
Go ahead, Coach. I'm sorry.
So first thing is, we're in the business at Louisiana All American Sports of keeping young African American men alive. So the first thing I want to say is there is no reason for you to get out of your car. Even though the other person has no right to shoot you. In a car incident, stay in your car. Go home. There's no need for you to get out of your car. As Perry Daniels Sr. would say, you don't want to be dead right.
Wow.
That being said, but now let's get back to Sheriff Newell Norman and his comments that this, Eric, yes, you did hear it a little wrong. He's saying that they have a history of investigating things appropriately and unbiased. Right. Now my question to you, Joe, my question to you, Eric, is this the same Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Department that stood at the line between Orleans Parish and Jefferson Parish at gunpoint and made sure that people leaving Hurricane Katrina did not come into Jefferson Parish? Is this the same parish?
It's the same parish. It is the same parish.
Also, Harry Lee was the sheriff of this parish. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct, and that's the reputation I thought he was talking about. But as you said, I must have misheard him.
So Harry Lee made the statement while during his tenure in office in Jefferson Parish that if there are some young blacks driving a car at night in predominantly white neighborhoods, they will be stopped. There's a pretty good chance that they're up to no good. That's a direct quote from Harry Lee, the former sheriff of Jefferson Parish. Also, is this the same Jefferson Parish that sent former Ku Klux Klan leader David Duke to the Louisiana State House to represent them, Eric?
That is, put me on.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. And when you start bringing up those incidents, Perry, I feel that those goosebumps going up my shoulders and neck because I'm from New Orleans. I remember very well when all this happened back in '86 with Harry Lee's remarks, and back in 1989 when David Duke, George Bush, the old Bush, sent a letter out to people in Metairie saying don't vote for him. Vote for, I think his opponent was John Brown, a Democrat. For that very reason, they had no weight whatsoever. They sent Duke to the legislature for a term. I remember all that. That is the same Jefferson Parish.
So here's the kicker, though. Sheriff Newell obviously does not remember Michael Williams Sr., who spent 16 years in prison before being released in 2011 for an alleged murder of a Wagaman woman. He was released after the Innocence Project got involved and help him gain his freedom. He sued Jefferson Parish. They settled with him, and after they settled with him, they named him in a crime, a murder against a young lady by the name of Michelle Gallagher, after the DNA had said that this was conclusively another man who did this. They still named Michael Williams Sr. in this crime and coerced a young man by the name of Chris Landry, made him sign an affidavit saying that Michael Williams Sr. had committed the crime. Later, Chris Landry came back and signed an affidavit saying that the police told me that if I did not give a statement saying that Michael Williams murdered Michelle Gallagher, they would charge me with the murder. That's the same Jefferson Parish.
Wow. That is exactly, Perry, and that's why I have. But as soon as it's almost like ghosts, or I can't pick a word. And I don't want to talk too much, but yes, it's the same Jefferson Parish. Their reputation precedes it, and it's not a good reputation. If you have a different point of view, if you're black or Latino, or frankly, if you've just been jobbed by the JPSO, they actually, I'm not gonna say it's equal opportunity messing people over, but they've definitely messed over a lot of different people, and that reputation precedes it. And so I'm not inclined to take what Sheriff Norman's saying on its face value. I really am not.
Well,
now, folks,
thumbs down to Sheriff Norman.
You can't hear this commentary. You can't hear a commentary on commercial radio. People aren't going to deliver you the truth manner. We need WHYR. You need to hear the community's voice on subjects as sensitive as this. We need you to go pick up the phone, give a call, make a pledge, a sustaining membership. That way the planning committee can budget that we deliver more programming to you of this nature. That phone number is 225-364-3969. 225-3969. We need your donations. You can also donate online at WHYR.org. Nowhere else on your radio dial are you going to hear alternative perspectives such as we deliver on this radio station.
364-3969. 364-3969. In case there was a little breakup there. Ditto.
He put the icing on the cake, just like my cupcake. I got my cupcake here for my birthday.
Man, you might want to get that.
And Perry put the icing on the cake. And we love doing what we do, and we love the people that's out there and the people that has already donated, and you can donate too. You won't get no other talk show like this. This is the Conscious Sports talk show that we have. It's been a lot of sports going on. Y'all ready to get back into it? We got a lot of more stuff to talk about, but thumbs down to Sheriff Norman.
That's right.
Thumbs
just down to them releasing gas. He needs to be in jail.
Thumbs down to that. That issue has a lot of layers to it. It's like an onion, and you peel one layer off, it's another layer. I was more or less talking about the stand your ground law. It's more, to me, it's more subjective, and it's more about perspective. Anyone can say that, I feel threatened. To me, if I don't see something, I can't always just say, "Oh, they got this," because I don't see it. So, that's just my perspective of it. But other than that,
where can we work in the when are we going to work in the I Told You So? Before college football or after?
Let's do that now, and then come out of that and get into this playoff discussion.
All right.
Okay.
So in this
take me a second to
49th edition of Louisiana All American Sports, we'll have on the thumb drive Joker. You will find that under LAS 0449. Our usual edition of I'm tongue-tied, of I Told You So. But Perry, when you tied that together, I just got to say, I was doing the remember Arsenio Hall with the whoop whoop, man. I was like you cannot get this kind of commentary anywhere else. It does not tie together any more seamlessly. That is a real life example. Joker, you got it, man?
Yeah. Whenever you're ready, let's get it. Let's find out, because we got to get into this anyway. We've been talking about this college stuff. I've been doing my picks all year.
What did I tell you? I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
Real heavy punches, so keep that in mind.
Well, and that's what I'm looking at. I'm kind of looking at strength of schedule. Looks like I think Grambling has played the tougher teams this year. Grambling is ranked higher than Southern on the national black polls. And I got all my notes and everything wrote down here, but you know what?
I'm picking Ohio State. Michigan has quarterback issues, and Ohio State's defense is going to eat him alive.
I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to go with Michigan. I think Michigan's defense, I'm going to go with Harbaugh to come up with the right game plan. I know that I'm kind of putting myself out there, but I'm going to go with Michigan.
Coach?
I'm going to stick with Joker on this because Michigan's defense is tremendous, and Jim Harbaugh played in this game. He lost it last year.
They had a hiccup, and they have looked almost bulletproof since then. And the inexperience in a big game did give them pause, but I'm going to take number 2 Ohio State over number 3 Michigan, notwithstanding that. Fantasy guy, I hear you.
And Derek, before we let you go, man, who do you have? And did you pick Grambling or Southern? Who did he pick?
I'm picking the Jags, baby. What was that?
Rams versus Saints tomorrow. Who's your pick in that game?
Oh, I'm picking the Saints. I got Michael Thomas starting at wide receiver. I need Drew Brees for 3 touchdowns.
You had to contemplate this one? This is the Saints all day. I mean, the Rams, come on. I mean, I don't even have to explain. The Saints can't beat the Rams. Then, I'm just going to just take my hat off and fry it.
They're playing musical quarterbacks, and for that reason, I do expect the Saints to win the football game. But man, I'm not. This game is going to be a lot closer than a lot of folks give it credit for. I think the line was more than a touchdown. I think that's outrageous, considering the Saints have been in single possession games all year long.
So there's just something about these two organizations that the Rams seem to have the advantage. So I'm going to go with the Rams.
All right, so we got Southern Grambling. Y'all, you may be very unpopular, but I'm going to go with Faith Hunter. I'm going to also pick the Grambling Tigers. I think they have better battle testing.
Wow. My heart is in Southern, man. I'm going to pick Southern. Grambling.
I love Southern Blue. I have 2 degrees from there. I know
what you mean.
When you hear that setup, you already know the butt. Kind of like when a girl gets ready to reject you for a date, she sets you up. You're such a nice guy and so
Your
sweet.
Personality is
but
so right.
Yes, there's a big butt, and that big butt
so those girls
is Chad Williams, man. I've never seen a young man, I've never seen a young man that can will his way to victory the way that young man can. And Lenard Tillery has a similar type of demeanor, but Chaz is just a step above. And this team had Arizona. I mean, they didn't lose to UL Monroe. They had Arizona down 21-3 and were rolling on them until Kincaid got hurt. I've got to go with Grambling on this.
Yeah! 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 I told you. What did I tell you?
All right.
Yeah, I told you. I told you.
I went 2-1, so I'm happy.
Yeah. Hey, Coach,
Yeah, Coach smoked it.
Coach kind of smoked it. I think I did okay. I lost Ohio State. Yep. And that brings up a big question when we talk about Ohio State. They did beat Michigan. And, of course, they were still inside the top 4 playoff. bracket. What do you think about that? What do you think about the Ohio State? Should Penn State be there, or should a team be there without winning their conference?
No.
That's the question.
If this were the old days, and there's a like when LSU had to face Alabama couldn't win their division, and there were only 2 teams being picked. Right. Oh, I'm not gonna let that go to the day I die. I think it's outrageous.
I told them you were gonna have something interesting to say on this subject, Eric.
but with 4 teams, it's a little different. I think it allows for those possibilities. We have a very good team, and Ohio State's really, 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 really good. But because things didn't line up, Wisconsin's gonna win the division. Look, I think the Big Ten champion deserves serious consideration, and should a team that fails to win its division get picked over or get picked when the conference champion is left out, I got a big problem with that. In other words, if Ohio State goes, then the winner of Penn State Wisconsin needs to go, I think.
Right, and I don't agree with that. The agreement I had the argument that I had was I want the 4 best teams, and I know Penn State is not a top 4 team. I think Ohio State, and pretty much consensus people can agree that Ohio State is a better team than them.
They're not the best team in their division.
Well, and that makes a good point, but what all divisions should go? Then I will go with what conference should go. Should Big 12 should have a representative there? What about the Pac-12? What about the SEC? But still, should the conference winner be there? How many? It's only 4 spots, and it's more than 4 conferences. So, in order to say a conference champion automatically should be in there, I don't go with that. I go with, who is the best? Who is the top 4 teams? Now, if it was 2 spots, like you said, it'd be a little bit different. But if it's Penn State is not ready for no Alabama. They're not the top. They're not a top 4 team.
Game got to be played, Joker. I mean,
how do you know if they weren't ready? They were ready for Ohio State.
Well, they got shellacked by Michigan.
Oh well,
49-6.
Game has to be played.
49-6.
Like
you look at the strength of schedule.
I'll call it last year.
I'm not saying Ohio State really is a juggernaut, because they struggling in some games too this year. They barely won against Northwestern and a couple of teams. They slid by, and they lost against Penn State. But and I'm not saying Ohio State is a top 4 team, but I'm not saying that Ohio State is, like an Alabama or nothing, but I just don't see Penn State being a top 4 team.
Well, like I said, game
game
has to be played, and to take this to the SWAC, Alcorn lost a 3-point decision to Grambling in the regular season last year, and they whooped Grambling last year in the SWAC championship game. Game has to be played. The same result may not happen. Ohio State is not going to be the Big Ten champion. In my opinion, I feel if you don't win your conference, you shouldn't be able to play for a national championship. And you said there's only 4 teams. Well, that just means they need to expand into more than 4 teams.
And I said, and that's a good point. Mm-hmm. I also said that can you honestly tell me if Florida beats Alabama, so you saying Alabama shouldn't be in?
No.
That's the benefit of the 4. That's what I'm talking about, Joker. I'm on fire. My mic's so hot. The only place where I disagree with Derek is that I think if Ohio State goes, there's no way that the Big Ten winner does not go. In other words, Wisconsin or Penn State, if Ohio State goes, that should automatically punch their ticket. Likewise, if Florida beats Alabama, that's fine. We all know Alabama needs to go. Period. But I think that the conference winner should trump a team that doesn't win its own division.
What about the ACC? Clemson.
Again, you got to win your division and your conference.
We're basically talking about in the top 4. You guys are basically talking about we want division winners. Or we want conference. So we don't want the 4 best teams in the country.
How can you be one of the 4 best? You can't win your own conference. I'm not saying. Look,
Alabama, like I said, you just said if Alabama loses to Florida, they should still be in.
I'm saying there's no way that Alabama goes if Florida doesn't if they lose their conference.
But I'm saying if just say Alabama, just like they say loses. Let's say they can lose.
They go home.
Should they be in the top 4?
No.
Derek says no. I say only if Florida does not get left behind after they beat them. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying this. So if Alabama loses, then you would think that they're not one of the top 4?
I didn't say that.
That's my point. So we're not talking. See, I'm talking about the top 4 best teams. I'm not. See, but y'all guys more talking about conference winners and everything.
I'm saying you can't jump somebody else that beat you. That's better than you in the regular season.
Right, I hear you. So look, guys. So the system was so horrible before that when they went to this 4-team playoff, we thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. But really, it was just another way for the elites in the NCAA to maintain control of who plays for this championship, this mythical championship. So really, the only solution is to include all conference winners and maybe a couple of at-large bids, similar to a wild card type slot in the NFL or Major League Baseball, and have a true playoff. Because if Florida happens to beat Alabama, then yes, they deserve to be in the playoffs. They deserve to play for the national championship. Now, with one loss, does Alabama not deserve to play? No, I'm not ready to say that, to Eric's point. But you can't put Alabama in over Florida if Florida beats Alabama. So,
and why is that? Other teams that have one losses in there, should you put the conference if a team loses, should the person that, just say you lost to Northwestern early in the year, the third game of the year, what difference does it make if it's the SEC championship? If that, okay, you lost to that team, should that team be above them?
I won my conference, you didn't.
No, but hey, look, but what matters is where Northwestern finishes the year. So if Northwestern finishes the year in the top 4, and you lost to Northwestern, then we got to consider you as well if that's your only loss. Hey, look, guys, we can't run long this week.
Right.
We did that last week to Noel Jackson.
Right.
So we've got to get out of his way this week. We want to encourage folks to donate at 225-364-3969. Again, that donation number is 225-364-3969. Let them know how much you appreciate Louisiana All American Sports. Let them know how you appreciate having a diverse voice and diverse opinions on the air.
Most definitely. We want to thank you guys again for all that you do. Once again, the number is 225-364-3969. And on behalf of Eric Hatfield and Derek Thomas and Coach Perry Daniels, I am Gerard Piper, a.k.a. Joker P. We're going to sign out, and coming up next, we have Noel Jackson with Music Satisfaction here on 96.9 FM, WHYR, LP, Baton Rouge Community Radio. Thank you, guys. Peace out, everybody. Happy holidays.
Have a good afternoon.
Are your lives still running?
Hail to the King and Lords of Love. May He protect us